All right, I haven't got time to mark this motherfucker. Here we go again. We can't hear anybody. Nobody can talk to anybody.
You guessed it, Pressure Points with your two favorite hosts. I'm D, and this is my Coca boy, AJ. We're coming at you with Season 6, Episode 14, The Butchers of Bosnia 3, Sarajevo. It is another installment of my Butchers of Bosnia series, so strap in and find us on Instagram at PointsOPressure.
Well, turn the fucking thing off, you dumbass.
You couldn't see it or hear it in the recording, but I was licking my lips when you called me out.
I said Coca.
Coca boy.
Coca.
I would love to grow a coca tree. Or a cola tree.
It's just a tree.
Or an animal.
Just a plant would be nice. If I could get anything to survive other than myself, that would be great.
Yeah, I just got some chives from my grandmother. I hope it doesn't die. It's in the kitchen window.
You got this. I believe in you.
So.
You guys are good with plants.
Katie is.
Oh,
yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm so... I cannot. I can't even water myself.
This is fair. That's a good point.
I'm being conscious of it.
I couldn't even keep a fucking, pothos alive, whatever. That one was the easiest plant that anyone can use, and I couldn't do it. And I was like, all right, whatever. Welcome back.
Neglect. It runs in the family.
yeah.
The Pressure Points family.
Well, welcome back, everybody. 420 is this week. Thursday.
Oh my God, I get paid on 420.
Yeah, I get paid. I don't know at this point. They'd pay me either Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, Friday. Pretty much payroll goes through on Monday, and then from Tuesday to Friday, there's a chance that I get paid, and it's been getting earlier and earlier. So it's cool.
All right,
I'll take it.
Works.
No complaints.
Yeah, we're going to be going camping here next weekend, hopefully.
Trip.
I should probably figure out what episode I'm going to do.
Yeah. I mean, we're probably not going to get back.
It won't be a wait.
Yeah. We'll be fine. So.
No, it'll be good. Snow's melting a little bit
Holy
up there.
Shit, yeah. Salt Lake flooded.
Yeah, and Ogden.
I just barely saw that yesterday, that they had to, put sandbags up and shit.
Oh, yeah, my uncle lives up there. Mm-hmm. He's been putting on his story on Instagram.
I see.
The flooding and the sandbags and stuff. They've been going out and helping, so that's pretty cool.
I have been so incredibly out of touch the last 5 days. I'm back on that Satisfactory grind.
God damn.
If you don't know what the game is, don't fucking look it up, or else you'll know that I'm a neckbeard fucking creepo that prefers math in my games.
Yeah, fuck. Dude, I'm playing a game, I kind of told you about it, War Tales, Medieval. You have a crew of companions that you have to pay, you have to feed, they have to rest, and you're just in this world, and you can kind of just do whatever. I keep there are different professions. There are 8 different professions, so I need at least 8 people in my crew. Uh-huh. But the second I get that 8th person, get that last profession filled and start training on it, one of them die.
Oh, damn.
And then I have to get another person and start training him again. I finally got one dude who's the captain of the crew. There's super nerd talk. 2-handed mace that's taller than them.
Yeah.
Heavy ass armor. And I make them go do everything because people keep fucking dying.
My manager and I talked about it, what was it, early last week? And he's like, oh, yeah, you play anything new? And I was like, no, I was thinking about dipping my toes in, logging in, clocking into the factory again. Because I had already told him about it. I was like, I just thinking about setting up truck routes and unlocking
the train routes and
train routes. And now they've got drones. I was like... It's
so
they have overwhelming.
Drones? Yeah. Oh, my God.
And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I have to rework my entire highway system so that I can get a truck route set up for the 3 different factory bases that I have. And he was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
No,
oh, no, why am I explaining this?
The real what the hell is, why aren't you using these skills in real life? You could be running management
just
system
an entire
right now.
Fucking logistics corporation.
Yeah, you could run a logistics corporation
because
with the
I
skills
can't
from
drive
this game.
a cool weird off-road vehicle between every single location.
Yes, you can.
I guess I could.
Yeah. Like
Just a little golf
Mr.
cart with
Fish
big
Odor from
wheels.
Bob's Burgers drives a golf cart around, like, and he
Right.
drives it on the sidewalk.
That's fair.
You can do whatever.
That's
If you're rich and eccentric, speeding tickets, parking tickets, those are for the poors.
Those are for the poors. Oh goodness. All right. Well, we're gonna get it. We're gonna hop into this.
No,
episode.
one more.
Yeah.
One more little
one
off
more.
track. The Pressure Points family has grown. We now have a social media manager.
Even though we've announced one months ago, we have an official one.
Ah! Somebody's
Oh,
down here
shit.
in the basement. Hey, come
And
say
it's
hi.
not the social media
It's
manager.
not the social media manager. Come on.
What's my name? Oh, Sweet Tea. It's
Hi,
just me.
it's Sweet Tea. He's
looking
just
for a
stopping by.
tool.
Yeah, you found two of them.
Yeah, two of them.
Hey-oh.
Hey.
No, you're good.
All right.
Just saying hi. I
Yeah.
can't find it. Show
You can't
me.
find it. It's leaning up against next to the door. Go show him.
All right,
I'll talk.
I'll be right back.
I'll fill dead air. So D's ass. No. So yeah, social media manager. D's still answering. If you DM us, it still goes to us. We're just gonna be posting more regularly on the Instagram. So come on by, say hi, follow us. Also, I'm supposed to remember to mention we do have a Patreon if you want to support us a little bit more than just downloading. Which only if you can. It's not a big deal. It's patreon.com/pointsopressure. We do exclusive full-length episode with full-color thumbnails every month. And we've got some back catalog stuff. But I was just told by our marketing manager to mention that stuff towards the beginning of the show, not just at the end.
Yeah, we probably should.
Yeah. But all right, I think we're good.
Yeah, good shit. So, I know it's been about a month since I last did Butchers of Bosnia. That's kind of going to be the timeline that I'm shooting for from here on out.
Perfect.
So that it doesn't get too repetitive for me, doesn't get too repetitive for you guys, and we have an ongoing series that you get an episode of every month kind of thing.
Hella.
So, if you don't remember what happened last month, totally fine. I had to read my notes again to catch back up.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Give us a brief rundown. There's a rat and a rat, but neither of their names are R-A-T.
Two rats.
Yeah.
No, the one is.
Ratkovich.
yeah.
Ratskovich, yeah.
Then
Rat
but that's
Davan.
Yeah, Radovan and Ratkovich. So, the last installment we talked about the RAM plan.
Yeah, Operation Ram.
Yeah, Operation RAM, the RAM plan, RAM plan, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But the basics of it are totally fucked.
Well,
This is set up by Karadzic, or Radovan Karadzic himself. It was an operation put in place for when Serbs got control of Bosnia and Herzegovina. So the plan was more or less go in, rape as many Bosniak Muslim women and children as you can, attack their places of worship, and drive them out. Like, if you have to rape, if you have to kill, if you have to burn their house down, you have to just do it. Now, towards the start of the RAM plan, Radovan got involved with actual Serbia, and he was caught on the phone talking about the RAM plan, which is bad news bears, because in this plan, they had also made deals with Russia to secure weapons and
Oh yeah,
give
I
to
remember.
paramilitaries.
It was right when the it was after the fall of the Soviet Union, right?
Yeah,
Or
it was just the beginning of
just
it,
the
I think.
beginning. Yeah. So there was a lot of. I mean, there was already a lot of corruption, but a lot more corruption.
Yeah. So they were working with Soviet generals who were like, oh, yeah, just give me a bunch of fucking money and I'll give you all these weapons. We'll hide them throughout Croatia and Bosnia for local Serbs to pick up that were being trained by Serbian police officers or Bosniak Serb police officers.
There you go.
Now, Radovan was taking control of the JNA in secret. Reminder, the JNA is the Yugoslavian People's Army.
Yes.
And, yeah, they're basically working to get total control before shit hits the fan. This episode, shit hits the fan, and then
Just
the
the tip,
next
right?
episode is the shit that flies out the back of the fan.
Yeah.
I know that this can come off as a very, very slow series. AJ and I talked about this before, and I kind of want to reiterate it, that it's like trying to tell someone without any background of World War II what World War II was without saying, hey, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about what Hitler did to the Jews. That's what this is for Yugoslavia. This is Hitler versus the Jews in Yugoslavia 1992.
Dude, Hitler versus the Jews sounds like an amazing movie from the 1970s.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So I know that it can come off as like really, really drawn out on some of this stuff because it really is just a lot of like, hey, I got to talk about the politics of this shit at the time. Plus, like, I think for the first time I found a subject that I feel confident sitting down and just like talking about, kind of like how you've been with World War II. I kind of feel that way with this Yugoslavian Civil War. Yeah, I'm not a fucking genius, but I'm able to sit down and just like shit out an entire episode confidently now.
Yeah,
and it's been nice.
It kind of gets to the point where, yeah, like I don't know everything about World War II, not at all.
Yeah.
Like there's so much that I don't know about at all, but I feel like I can provide the context.
Yeah.
Like I can tell a story about a very specific event in World War II and provide the needed context to understand it without having to tell you the entire thing, you know? Like it gets to a point where it's like, okay, I know I'm recognizing names, I am recognizing locations, recognizing events, and you kind of have that timeline.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I want to do for you guys. Like, there's still so much that I haven't even learned or touched on. I couldn't answer any questions about anything that happened after 1992 right now. This went until like 1996, I believe.
But we'll get there.
But I want you guys to be able to sit down and in the future when I talk about just weird little stories that happened during this time, I want you guys to also have this background so that those weird stories don't need a really fucking poorly put together Yugoslavians really bad breakup episode when it's something that could be fleshed out as well as I'm trying to do right now. So bear with me. If you don't dig it, totally cool. Fucking tell me. Like, let us know on Instagram or email us.
Now, if you really hate it, download and listen, or not, don't download it, but stream it, listen to it like 10 times.
And just shit on it the whole time. It's fine.
And scowl. And we'll know. We can tell.
Yeah, I'll be able to tell. But yeah, if you aren't a fan of it, I'm really sorry. I'm still going to do it.
But at least it's once a month.
Yeah, just let me know. I will try to keep these to like once a month. If you guys want them every fucking week, let me know if you want it every week. Because I would be happy to kind of like not rush out the series, but kind of just dump it out.
Yeah, I've got a capstone this summer. Like you can take over every week if you wanted to.
We'll see.
We'll see.
So yeah, a lot of exposition, I know, but things are going to get really, really serious at the end of this episode and from here on out with these. It's fucking
not that they
insane
weren't
to me.
serious.
Not that they
enough
weren't
already.
serious. It's just
Jeez.
it was a lot of like setup more. Like a lot of ideas being put into place and not the action of those ideas yet, unfortunately.
I mean, not entirely. I mean, there's been plenty of execution, plenty of action, but the big projects and programs, not yet.
The meat and potatoes of this will be on its way.
Meat and taters.
So, after it is exposed that Radovan is working with the Serbs to take control of the JNA, he kind of starts... He puts his foot down, and they have what's called the September War. Now, this is a lot bigger. I'm just going to rush through it. I'm not really going to talk a lot about Yugoslavian Civil War stuff if it doesn't involve the two rats in this series, because I think that we are just going to stick to those two guys. So I will give you an overview of this September War, though. Rako Mladic leads the JNA, and he is fighting against the Croatian National Guard in this battle. And they're attempting to cut off a really heavy supply line in Croatia that goes through Dalmatia. And they want to siege Croatia's barracks as well. Now, I'm sure, like, when you look at this at face value, it's like, why the fuck are they, like, starting a war outside of Bosnia? Like, it's a ballsy fucking move.
Yeah, because wasn't the whole thing Bosniaks in Bosnia, Croats in Croatia,
Yeah.
Serbs in Serbia.
Yeah.
But then why are they moving out of their area?
So,
But yeah, I know. I mean, I know why.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's what it feels like.
it does feel really offhand. A lot of this is because Bosnia and Herzegovina have such strong ties to the Croatian community and strong ties to the Muslim community. Mind you, the Muslim community ties are just fucked. Like, you're not going to get any help because of how badly that community is struggling. Croatia, yeah, they have their own fucking country. So the approach is you cut the head off of the snake before you attempt to, like, kill Mama Snake's family, more or less, right?
Yeah.
So they want to cut off Croatia's supply lines under the guise of the Yugoslavian People's Army so that it comes off as, well, they are seeking their own independence. We just have to make sure that they do it the correct way.
Yeah.
The Serbian but not while being Serb way, right?
Yeah.
So cut off Croatia's supply line, take all of their weapons, because what better way to come off as being the People's Army than taking Croatia's, the National Guard's weapons and saying, you guys don't need these, and then you turn around and use them next door.
Yeah.
So, let's see. So the JNA sends 4 infantry corps, half of the Air Force, and the entire Navy. It's a fucking ton of people that are being sent to Croatia right now. And overall, the September War is kind of a success and a failure. Like, they succeed half of what they wanted to. They completely fail at half of what they wanted to. But overall, I would call this a success in the Serbs' eyes, because they are able to lock down Croatia. And, I mean, if you're Croatia, you're not really going to get that involved in what happens in Bosnia in 6 months, because you just had, like, a miniature war in your own country. Like, this isn't something that's like, oh, yeah, we got shelled a fuck ton of times, and in 6 months, yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal. Let's go start another war to, like, in the neighbor's yard. Like, they got fucked up. Like, there were bombings. It got out of hand. Croatia wasn't left entirely crippled, but it definitely put them in a position to not enter an entire war in Sarajevo and get involved as heavily in the siege of Sarajevo as they could have.
So, yeah,
if this hadn't happened.
So it was like, kneecapping.
Yeah.
It's sweeping the leg.
Exactly.
And making it so, yeah, they're not like, they'll be fine and maybe if some time passes, but they're not going to be able to interfere.
And the JNA isn't
this.
entirely exposed, because really they went in and did what the JNA would normally do in this instance when, there are weapons and someone's trying to find independence and things are getting a little bit crazy. Yeah, they would do exactly what they did. The only problem is when they do it in Bosnia, it's going to be only Serbs.
Yeah.
So it's tough, like, kind of seeing what they did in Croatia. However, Croatia actually kind of took the W in the Battle of the Barracks. They basically pulled like an Uno reverse card on them, because the JNA showed up wanting to take Croatia's fucking guns and all of their weapons and ammunition and all of their resources. But Croatians ended up taking over a JNA outpost, and they secured almost 1,000 weapons, and they secured 250 tanks.
Damn.
That's a lot of fucking tanks.
That
to
is
just
a
like
lot of tanks.
you kick down a door and you're like, oh shit, a tank depot. Like,
Damn, they left half a tank of gas in there. Damn.
it's all you can eat tanks for Croatia right now. They're set up nicely. This was like the big outpost for the JNA. Like,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
a
know how
huge
the
deal.
fuck they pulled this off.
Yeah, like,
but
damn.
they secure this outpost, and the JNA basically is like, okay, like, we'll fuck off. Like, I think the September Wars took place over like less than a week, and then everything else that went on after Croatia took all of these tanks and shit went on for another like 2 months, basically pushing JNA out. So, like I said, JNA largely steps back, retreats. They're like, okay, like we fucked up.
You got the tanks.
You guys keep everything. We'll fuck off. Plus, Ratko doesn't want to get into an all-out war because Operation Ram is still supposed to take place in 6 fucking months.
Yeah,
And
he's got
if
other
his-
things.
If his army dies to Croatia, he's going to have questions to answer to people he doesn't want to fucking answer questions
Yeah,
to.
he's not going to be able to fuck up everybody else.
So they kind of start pulling back. A lot of them are like, yeah, we'll get out of here. We're sorry. However, there are people in the JNA that kind of double down. A lot of these JNA barracks, because it's a people's army, are located in urban areas, heavily populated neighborhoods, and as they start fighting back, they start to run into more and more civilian casualties. And
No way.
Yeah, who the fuck would have thought that firing a gun in downtown could potentially kill somebody? So Croatians start to get fucking furious, and Croatians, like just the people, will retaliate. It led to a lot of civilian casualties, but JNA personnel started either going missing or ended up dead, or just they would get tortured like fucking crazy. There were actually multiple filings of war crimes against a ton of civilians during this time, but a lot of them never saw the court or were pursued just because of everything that followed after, because the war crimes committed in a year were a hell of a lot worse than
yeah.
what happened here.
So the civilians were fighting the JNA
Yeah.
as well as the National Guard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
so
making
it's-
sure I got it all. I mean, you know what? I don't blame them.
Yeah. The
Like, I
thing
think
is,
that's an acceptable response in
if-
general. Not the war crimes,
yeah, right.
but like an army walks through your town and sets up a
Yeah.
base in an urban center. Yeah, there would be Molotovs.
Yeah.
Like
Especially after
after
like,
everything that's
after
happened,
Yugoslavia's fucking crumbling.
just up to this part.
Yeah.
Like just up to this
Now,
point. I mean, yeah.
If
tensions.
this is the first episode of ours in this series that you're listening to, if you don't understand why Croatia or Bosniak Muslims would be frustrated, I very, very highly encourage you to go back and listen to the last 2 episodes of the Butchers of Bosnia, because this episode, it doesn't look good in like what the Bosniak Muslims did, what Croatians were doing during this time, because of what they've gone through up to this point. Like, the thing is, doing these notes, I'm sitting here and I'm like, holy shit, like what the fuck are they doing? But you got to realize there's a history of what the Serbs have done
they've
up
been
to this point.
getting shit on
Yeah.
up to this point. Like,
There is
they're
a lot
fighting
of
back.
later on. There is a lot of Serb victimization that they do, and that's why we ran into people like we did on YouTube,
Yeah.
that are like, oh, fuck you for being racist against Serbs. And it's like, there are people still with that victimized mentality being Serb. And I get it. Like, Serbs have been through a fuck ton. They were treated like shit in World War II. And after. And during this time, there was a lot of fucking stuff that everybody was doing to everybody.
Yeah, none of them are right.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, like, by all means, tie up a Yugoslavian People's Army representative and just fucking shoot him in the face. Yeah, that'll solve everything. I don't condone fucking violence in any of this, but with what Serbia has done up to this point,
this is the response. Tensions.
It's no wonder why Bosniak Muslims and Croatians are reacting the way they
lashing back out after being prosecuted and beat and all the shit that we've talked about the last 2 episodes.
So Ratko Mladic gets this major fucking promotion because, at face value,
he gets a promotion for losing 250 tanks.
Yeah, but they basically secured themselves.
But
Bosnia.
They also made sure they weren't gonna.
I was just about to say, at face value, you're reading the newspaper and you see, Croatia steals 250 tanks. Croatia drives out the JNA. The next page, it's Ratko Mladic gets a promotion. You'd be like, what the fuck? It's because the Serbs, they don't give a shit about losing the tanks. They have all of them in the Serbian army. They have hidden fucking weapons in people's hands.
Yeah, Russian weapons.
Yeah, Russian weapons in people's hands that are your neighbor down the block. It's a fucking success because Croatia isn't going to get involved now.
Yeah, I guess they still accomplished that goal of now Croatia's not going to get involved for the shit that's going to happen next. Yeah. For the RAM.
And it basically puts him in a position to be the major front runner of the JNA. So he gets his major general position at this point, that I had previously talked about, where he gets promoted to major general. So he gets promoted, and he's basically put in charge of the 2nd division of the Yugoslavian People's Army, which is kind of odd if you didn't have the history as to why the fuck he's being put in this power.
Yeah.
So during this time in October, there's a Bosnia-Herzegovina assembly, and Radovan Karadzic, who is the president he's going to be the upcoming president of Bosnia that he puts himself in power. He says that Muslim Bosniaks could disappear if independence is successful. During an assembly for this country.
Okay.
When you hear that, for me at least, I don't know if it's he's threatening they could disappear, or I don't know if he's trying to make them feel afraid, hey, your people could effectively disappear because the Croats and Serbs will push you out. I feel like it's a really fucking clever, sneaky line to just drop 5 months before
it's very
everything
manipulative.
Goes down. Yeah.
It's very open to interpretation, but the interpretations he wants.
Yeah.
He's sowing discontent.
It's
sowing discontent. God.
He goes in a year or two, they look back and they go, oh yeah, depending on what happened, he kind of has a position of I was saying there's a chance that they get silenced, or there's a chance that I silenced them, which is what I think his motives were when he said that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we're going to skip forward to March 1st. Independence has been voted on, like we said. The Serbs elected to skip the vote, whatever. And it's more or less set in stone, for example. Hasn't been totally finalized. It's all that fucking government jargon bullshit where something gets voted on and then 6 to 10 days later it's actually going to happen.
Yeah.
But March 1st, they're hey, we're independent. Bosnia and Herzegovina are their own fucking thing now. And one of the most important Serb weddings is taking place.
Ooh, a political wedding?
On March 1st, yeah. Not even a political wedding.
Oh, just important.
So the wedding goes on as usual. They're doing like their little procession. The only difference during this Serb wedding is that they're flying Serbian flags. And it's not like, oh, one person has them. A lot of the guests are holding Serbian flags. Mind you, this is a country that is not Serbia. Serbia is a completely different country now. Serbia is like... it's totally... So a good analogy is if there was a wedding in Ukraine between two Russians... and instead of flying Ukrainian flags where they're from, where they are legally fucking married in, they're flying these big Russian flags.
Yeah, that might turn some heads.
During 2022, 2023.
Yeah.
In Ukraine. Like,
yeah, it's
a bad fucking idea.
Move.
Yeah. The
like,
other thing...
I could even see an argument for all having Ukrainian flags and Russian flags because you're Russian, but you're living in Ukraine. You are Ukrainian at that point.
Exactly.
I could see like having both, maybe. I don't know. I'm not there.
I can't imagine that it would.
But
really,
I could not imagine.
To be honest,
the balls. It took to do that.
I wouldn't raise or fly any national flag during a fucking wedding.
It's a wedding. Yeah.
The other thing is that during this, like, the area that they're holding this ceremony, this wedding, is a super, super heavy Bosniak Muslim section of Sarajevo. Like,
genius.
This is almost as fucking stupid.
Is
as
Ratko officiating it?
Right,
like,
for real.
Jesus.
This is like getting married in fucking Birmingham, Alabama, and you're like, oh yeah, we'll just fly the Confederate flag during our wedding. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
no, it's
you're just putting a fucking target on your back.
Yeah, it's
during how tense everything is.
You are getting married in the town square in the capital of Ukraine this month, and you're Russian, and you have all just Russian flags.
Yeah,
like.
How out of touch can you be?
Like, it's okay if you want that for your wedding.
You're either out of touch,
but you need to go somewhere else. You're out of touch or you get paid.
Or you're a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
So, super crazy, like, part of Bosniak, or section of Sarajevo that's very heavily populated with Bosniak Muslims. And it holds a lot of historical significance to locals. They have a lot of, what the fuck is... Not synagogues,
mosques.
Yeah, they got a bunch of those there. Like, this is their part of town.
Yeah,
and it's not a very Serb dense area. It never really has been. In some Croatan Muslim eyes, they didn't see it as like, oh, these people are out of touch. They're seeing it as these guys are just more or less waving middle fingers to everybody that's not Serb.
I can see why they see
and
it
I
that
don't
way.
fucking blame
I don't blame them.
So during this wedding, during the procession, everything surprisingly is going well until they hear gunshots. People start to scatter. It's discovered that the groom's father has been shot and killed. The Orthodox Serb priest has also been hit and is in like critical condition. Witnesses point out that the shooter was Ramiz Delicic.
Was he Serbian?
He's a Bosniak Muslim.
Oh, never mind. We're on the opposite. Sorry.
Yeah,
that's what I meant to say.
You're good.
He was yeah.
Yeah, he's a Bosniak Muslim, and he has gang affiliations. It's not a great fucking situation. It's I said, like, it looks really fucking bad for how the Croats and
it's
Bosniaks
exactly
respond, but
dude,
it's exactly what they would do because of what they've been through for years.
This is a false flag. This feels like a false flag operation, which I know that is thrown around a lot in conspiracy theory circles, but it does happen occasionally. Yeah. It happened for the invasion of Poland in World War II. A lot of people don't know that, but there was this whole dumb thing about how, oh, these Germans were at this radio station were killed by all these Polish people, and now we have to step in.
Yeah, it's just like the
and start
timing,
the conflict.
Yeah,
like it really feels
the timing
like,
of all of it, the way that it all went down. It's like
oh,
are you
this
fucking kidding me?
It also feels a lot like, oh, this young Yugoslavian dude went to this other country and shot this Archduke, and well, he killed him with a grenade. I think, and then it triggered this whole thing that ended up being World War One. Like it really feels
it
like
feels like the same fucking
like it was
setup.
set up to have so that now. A Bosniak attacked a bunch of Serbs. Now the Serbs have an excuse to hit it again, and now they're the victims.
Now they're the victims, exactly, and that's kind of what.
Dude, a lot of Nazis in the U.S. are doing that shit right now.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you're attacking me for my views. Has nothing to do with the hate crimes that you committed.
It's
that are
fucking
in response
insane.
to.
So it sets up exactly that. The SDS comes out and they say that it's obvious that the Serbs are being persecuted. The Sarajevo police don't really make an effort to attempt to, they don't make an effort or, attempt to capture or find Ramiz. He just kind of goes on the lam, just does his own thing, and he's free to do so, probably because there's a lot of other shit that's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, the SDS, which if you don't recall, is the more or less like the Serb Democratic Party. And yeah, they're like, Serbs are being persecuted, and they double down and they say, this is exactly the type of stuff that's going to happen when we have independence. This is like when everybody is free to do their own thing.
The propaganda machine starts spinning and spinning.
That's
it's
exactly
crazy.
my next line is
God damn
the
it.
propaganda machine turns on.
We've been doing this show for too long.
Yeah, and suddenly they start reporting that, like on a local level, that Serbs are in danger, Serbs are under attack, and this radicalizes even more people that aren't already radicalized and are being trained by the police at this point.
That sounds so familiar.
Yeah, how odd.
3 of those school shooters were trans. Therefore,
how wild.
people are being attacked for being against
Jesus.
trans. No, that's not. What the fuck? It's so like. I hate
fucking
how
insane.
effective propaganda is.
Yeah,
I wish we could propagandize this show. We should figure that out.
that's fair.
We should take over a small nation.
I'm okay.
Actually, never mind.
That
seems like a
too
lot of
much
paperwork.
work.
Yeah,
I
fuck that.
Wouldn't have time to take 6 naps a day.
And play your satisfactory.
Fuck
You
that.
couldn't
Yeah.
fucking build your factories and shit.
Exactly. So the biggest thing to remember during all of this is all Serbs, one state. That is what Serbs have lived by
Yeah, that's been
for
what they've been spouting.
years. All Serbs in one state. It's common tongue among any
it's not,
Serbian, any
all
Serb.
Serbs travel to this
Yeah.
state we have.
Yeah.
It's if you're a Serb in an area, that's a Serbian
Yeah.
state.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's kind of
That's their focus.
That's kind of the between
That's
the lines.
the thing that you have to remember during all of this, especially this episode.
They've been indoctrinated with that.
These guys will victimize the living shit out of themselves. There are victims. I will.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
There is a dead fucking man on the ground because of an alleged Bosniak Muslim shooter.
Obviously,
There are going to be victims
in war
but
there's
in
no
the-
innocent parties.
Yeah, in
Like,
the grand scheme, one side is a hell of a lot worse than the other two.
one
ever
side's been
were.
setting it up and
Yeah.
pushing the tensions to
One side has plans to remind you to murder and rape children and women because it will make it that much harder to fight back.
Exactly. Obviously, negative things on both sides, on all sides, because
Yeah.
it's not a this side or that side thing.
yeah,
It's too complex for that. If it was that, it would be one episode.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it's very complex and shitty.
Yeah.
It's shitty all around. It's shitty that people are being pushed into feeling like they have to defend themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's shitty that people are being pushed into these very nationalistic viewpoints, which just sets up conflict.
It's not okay.
Why I can look at a flag, I don't care. I'll be honest, flag is a symbol. it holds no real meaning to me in general. I wouldn't, like, if somebody was holding up a different flag across the street, I wouldn't go across the street and shoot them.
Gun them down, yeah.
But I've also not been indoctrinated for the last, however, like, in reality, the issues that are coming to a head here start in the 1800s. Like, if you really go far back, and like if you've had that level of not only those issues for so long, but also people taking advantage of those issues and twisting it into propaganda for your entire life, I could see how somebody would do something horrible and think, "Oh, I'm fine." It's
a bad fucking
it's
situation
bad everywhere.
So all of this on March 1st acts as basically the signal flare for all of the men that have been trained by the Serb police, all of the paramilitaries, all the people that they put guns in hands, and snipers get in position that have been trained to go to specific places. They start setting up barricades and blockades in Sarajevo. They're rolling them out in the streets at all of the pre-planned destinations. And all of these paramilitary and Serb eyes are on one fucking thing on March 2nd, and it's the Sarajevo Parliament building. On March 2nd, Croats and Bosniaks are fully aware of what Serbs are doing at this point. You would have to be blind, deaf, dumb, crippled, basically fucking dead to not see what the fuck is happening in Sarajevo right now. So, thousands of Croats and Bosniaks show out. They all start protesting what the Serbs are up to, in addition to protecting the people that are voting for them in this newly independent country that has yet to get its fully declared independence. All that's been done is it's been voted on at this point.
Yeah. We talked about that in the last episode.
Yeah.
Right?
So they literally go out and use themselves as human shields to protect parliament members that fought for their independence, because the Serbs are lining up shots to off these people so that this independence shtick doesn't happen in their eyes.
So the goal is to stop the parliamentary proceedings, not like take over the city?
It's to stop the Serbs from killing.
No, I mean the Serbs.
Oh, yeah.
The Serbs is to stop that proceedings, which cements in their power and their kind of nation stuff. I always thought it was to take control of the city.
I mean, that's
kind of a secondary, but
it's that because they're. I mean,
that's how you control.
This is the first siege of like many. This is really just, in my eyes, to stop the upcoming signing and setting up of the declaration of their independence. Mm-hmm. Because if that's stopped, they're all Yugoslavian still. They all still fall under the exact same blanket that Serbia's under, except now they've got an SDS guy that's sitting in power in Radovan that they can just pop straight into power. And Serbia and like, I don't even know what other countries are really under Yugoslavia right now, but if they stop that independence from happening, Croats can't help them because they're not a part of the Yugoslavian People's Army anymore. The Yugoslavian People's Army is strictly fucking Serbian.
Yeah, it basically makes Yugoslavia into just Serbia.
And like, if it does happen, then the Serbs will put themselves in power regardless and do exactly what they fucking did. Yeah. So it's just a lose-lose situation, but in my eyes, it's probably better at the time to fucking protect parliament members that are going to vote in favor.
They're at least trying.
Yeah, at least there's a hope that you're not all going to fucking die in a genocide. So yeah, they fucking stand up, they show up, and this is the first time the world sees the Green Berets of Bosnia. A lot of these guys are old Yugoslavian People's Army vets. or they were ones that left because they started to see the Serb influence in the JNA. And so the Green Berets fucking show up, and as snipers are lining up their sights, Green Berets are stepping in front of the targets. As Serb radicals start putting up barricades, Green Berets are taking down those barricades and putting up their own to stop them from being able to stop the progression of a fucking entire country.
Badass. You know what? I'll say it. That's badass. That people are doing that
awesome.
Shit. Like, people are actually stepping up and stepping and
yeah.
doing shit.
I think that I think a lot of this is because they had a glimmer of hope when independence passed. They saw that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and Serbs saw that the light at the end of their tunnel is now blocked by Serbs, or it's blocked by Bosniaks and Croats. And so I think these two ethnicities fucking needed this. They needed the independence, and as soon as there's a wrench thrown into the plan, they were like, fuck no. Like, we're finally going to get equality in this godforsaken
we've
nation.
We've seen what's been happening.
Yeah.
Like,
we're going to stand up. And they did everything that they could. Now, despite the standoff that's currently happening between Green Berets and Serbs, a group of Serbs kill a Bosniak that's traveling in a nearby town. Word gets out, and this throws everyone into fucking chaos, because once again it drives further for Serbs that they're the victims, that independence means Serbs die, which is not the case. And it didn't become the case. So everyone starts going batshit crazy. 12 people end up getting killed in Sarajevo that night. And it overshadows the official filing of a declaration of Bosnia and Herzegovina's independence. Like, this is the start of the siege of Sarajevo, and it completely masked freedom for these people.
Parliamentary independence set up
the official filing of it just goes by the wayside because Serbs were pieces of shit, because they had to have their fucking time to shine. They couldn't have equality. Like,
they didn't.
That's what this is all about. Is I feel like it's hard to see that really this isn't just like, oh yeah, Serbians unite. This is only Serbians unite against everything else. There is a very, very fucking distinct difference. And the Serbs fucking, they radicalized all Serbs one state. They made it way worse than it fucking was.
Dude, all Serbs one state is so similar to Nazi sayings, like in the early days.
It doesn't surprise me at all.
It's crazy. And it's not just Nazis. That's just, because it's me.
Yeah, make America great again.
Yeah, let's go back to it. Like, it's
setup.
the same. It's fascist rhetoric. It's nationalistic fascist rhetoric.
It's
crazy.
Fuck,
like,
dude.
How. Simple people like simple phrases.
Yeah, right. So news comes out that everything is officially filed, and havoc takes to the streets of Sarajevo. Protests, violence, tensions rising. It becomes pretty standard for the next month.
And it probably would have been even if the Serbs hadn't bought all those Russian weapons.
Yeah, right. If they didn't have Operation Ram in place,
exactly,
it wouldn't it wouldn't have turned into what it turns into.
Yeah.
So on March 11th, the SDS rejects a previous peace plan that was put in place during independence talks. Now, the plan itself was called the Carrington-Cutolero Plan. I may have fucked that up. I don't know how to say the second guy's name, but we're going to go Cutolero.
Perfect.
And the plan that's put forth is made to set specific areas. Now, this was filed on February 28th, 29th, I think. The plan was to separate and set specific areas for Serbs, Croats, and Bosniaks, which normally you would read and you'd be like, why the fuck would you insist on separating people? Well, tensions are already high. They already know that things are going to get out of hand. So it's literally just saying, hey, you and your brother both go to your room.
Yeah.
Separate rooms. No more fighting because you can't fight through fucking walls, I guess. So, it's the idea is to create safe borders in the event of national destabilization, which makes sense. This is also to prevent an all-out war by separating everybody. And, I mean, when you have all of these meshed up ethnicities that all fucking hate one another and they're not set in these, like, predetermined areas, it's just going to get crazy fucking out of hand. I get that separating is not an effective form when it comes to ethnicities. It is fucked up to say, yeah, this group and this group should definitely be in two different places.
In this situation,
but, yeah, where things have already gone south,
yeah.
where you have countries that are seeking independence and you've had the JNA struggling to know what fucking side to take when they were neutral, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, this plan was put forth by two people that are not Yugoslavian whatsoever. One, I think, was from Portugal, and I don't know what the other one was, but it's like two very neutral people that were like, hey, I think this is your best approach. And it was adopted by everyone on February 28th, 29th.
It was like, well, it's something.
Yeah. On the 11th, however, the Serbs come forward and they say, hey, you know what? We've actually got a new map. Now that this city is starting to burn, here's our proposal. 2/3 of Bosnia and Herzegovina are fucking dedicated to Serbs.
Of course. What? I could have. I'm surprised there wasn't more.
And the guys on the panel look at it and they're like, no, we're not going to accept this. So they sit down.
So I see you want war.
Unfortunately, they sit down and they negotiate something. The new map or new plan that's set in place is it negotiates borders based on economic and geographic level, which is
so it's gerrymandering.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what the GOP does to Florida to make sure they keep winning.
It's fucking.
Jesus.
It is a terrible, terrible plan that they put forth. All of the parties sign, Radovan Karadzic included. Now, 3 weeks later, the Bosniak president. Now, to clarify, when I say Bosniak president, this is a man that was elected president. Radovan Karadzic, the president of Bosnia and Herzegovina, was not elected to be in that position. He was placed there by the SDS after they assumed power.
Yeah.
It is a very confusing transition between the two.
Somewhat confusing
because
but
both
yeah,
of them are like, oh yeah, president. Now, he's Bosniak and the president of Bosnia Herzegovina, and his name is Alija Izetbegovic. He signed
very good, by the way.
He signed on the 11th of March. 3 weeks later, on the 28th, he comes forward and he withdraws his signature and says he disagrees with dividing anything in Bosnia, which is a very fucking strong stance
very bold,
to take.
Yeah.
But it's also the stance that I think a lot of fucking people needed to hear. But it went on deaf ears. On April 4th, Alicia comes out and says that anyone in the JNA reserves or in a police force needs to unite and just get fucking ready for what's about to happen.
Writing's on the wall.
Yeah.
Like,
the SDS basically goes into a fucking frenzy. They're like, oh my God, a Bosniak is telling the JNA reserves to get back together. He's telling police that aren't Serbian to get with the JNA. They're plotting
attack us.
They're plotting against us.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the SDS has Operation fucking Ram.
Yeah, snipers everywhere,
like,
just
dribbling
ready.
down their fingertips. They're just waiting for one fucking thing, and this is exactly what it was. The SDS tells Serbs that they need to evacuate. However, at notice of evacuation, nobody really seems to evacuate. Serbs tend to stay in one place because that was like their overall signal for get your weapons, get with your paramilitaries, get with those police forces, and just fucking go ham. And on April 4th, that's exactly what happens. Instead of evacuating, Serbs double down. They don't even, I don't want to say shelter in place. They just fucking barricade and get ready for the next day. 24 hours later, the paramilitaries are back in action. They're setting up their exact same barricades that they set up a month earlier. And they're sitting down in their military positioning just as they did 1 month earlier. And that is everything that I have for today's episode.
So you're edging us with Sarajevo.
I am, yeah, because right after this,
it gets
everything
wacky,
goes fucking bonkers, and I was like, I can't. It'll just snowball effect. It'll just be, I'll talk about the police that go crazy next. Then I'm gonna have to talk about the protesters that get killed, and then it's gonna be way too much. Just know that the next episode is fucking. We're going all in.
Yeah.
It'll be
Balls Deep in Sarajevo is going to be, that's a working title.
Oh, God. In 4 weeks, I'll have it out.
Roughly. That's not promise.
Yeah. I'll have it out.
Yeah, it'll be out.
But, yeah, I appreciate you guys fucking tuning in on this one.
Another great one. Ooh.
It's about to get fucking started, man. I'm excited, but also not very excited. But if you guys would like to get an additional episode, I know AJ talked about it at the start of the show, but it's tradition and I'm set in my ways.
God.
By all means, subscribe to us on Patreon. If you can afford it, don't do it if you can't. Don't go broke for us. Just listen. I would prefer you guys just listen and
tell a friend.
Yeah, tell your friends. But if you can and would like to support us, go to Patreon. We give you an extra episode per month. We have a bunch of Sloppy Seconds episodes on there. We have a video that shows you the fucking studio that we're in when it's actually clean. AJ's working on a series called Voices. There's a bunch of really cool shit on there. I highly encourage anyone that wants to check it out. Even if you just click around on there, take a look at some stuff. But if you do subscribe, we call you out at the end of the episode. We don't shout you out. We fucking call you out.
Yeah. So, we've got the board. These are the most elite, rich, and they probably have really big penises, too.
Yeah.
For sure.
Those that have them, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all of them, I believe, do.
I don't know. I haven't seen any of their penises, so I'm not going to speak for any of them.
Yeah, I'm not going to assume. But, the board, they're the ones who green-lighted us getting an employee that we don't pay.
Yeah, for getting an intern.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a secretary intern.
It's okay. She turns it off at this point.
I just
so.
decked myself in the chin.
That's why she told us to do it at the start, because she turns it off by now.
Yeah, she doesn't listen.
No.
So, of course, we've got Nordic Thunder, Mini D, Toddle Waddle, and Weston. Thank you, guys.
You guys are the best. Thank you.
I hit my jaw with this microphone on accident.
My junk with this microphone.
I hit my junk with this microphone just for you.
Yeah, they force us to do these episodes, so if you don't like it, blame them. That's why I tell you to message us if you don't like an episode. That way we can
forward it.
We can call them. We can hold a board meeting.
Yeah, board meeting. Yeah, conference call, Zoom board meeting. And then, of course, we've got Abby, AJ's third nut, Thomas, Dark Runner, D's Nuts, and Lara Revo. Thank you guys so much for helping us out.
You keep the lights on the place.
For, 160 episodes or something?
A lot. Almost 4 years now.
Damn.
Yeah, hot damn. 4 years in September. September 9th is our fourth birthday.
You wanna celebrate?
Yeah,
I'll probably forget about it.
Yeah, we'll forget about it. We'll celebrate the episode after that birthday. We always do.
I think that's between semesters, just before my last semester.
I'll take the day off work. I'll take the next day off work.
Yeah.
I got fucked up that night.
Yeah.
But yeah, we really do appreciate you guys. I never really expected us to ever have been at this point. So
Yeah. Like,
I didn't think anybody would support us on Patreon. So
Yeah.
thank you for those of you that do. And as always, if you ever have any show ideas or you want to show us fucking funny memes, or you found an article that you think is interesting that we would like to read, if you just want to fucking chat with us, if you have a show, TV, or a fucking movie, books, one of your pictures, picture movies, music, whatever. If you want to fucking suggest anything, just don't send us dick pics, because it's not AJ and I running it anymore. So
you can't send
Yeah.
tit pics, though. That is okay.
yeah, you can always send boobies.
Boobies are
Boobies
fine.
and
Dicks are
butts.
not okay. Boobies and butts, totally fine.
As long as the second one has been washed within the
yeah.
last 24 hours.
Please.
But yeah, always feel free to reach out to us on Instagram at PointsOPressure, and always feel free to email us at ppdnaj@gmail.com, and we will catch you fuckers next Monday.